Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well today. Well, since winter does not seem to want to get off our backs here in Canada and I'm not riding my motorcycle, I decided I might as well come and look at some motorcycles. So I'm down here at M&M Performance on McCurdy Place in Kelowna, and I'm gonna go check out some of the new Indians and Triumphs, and yeah, I'm gonna just see what these guys have got going on inside. But I do not know too much about Indian. I've read a little bit about them. One thing I do know is that they are one of the top competitors with Harley Davidson. There is good reason for that because Indian does make some really nice looking motorcycles, and I want to share that with you all since I'm not doing anything on the road. And just a quick reminder for you all before this video gets started, if you guys want to be in one of my viewers rides episodes, then make sure you find my email in the description of this video and send me a photo of your bike. And if you don't know what viewers rides is and you're interested in knowing, then go back on my channel and check out some of those videos, guys. And if you want to be in one of those episodes, then send me a photo of your bike, send me a little bit of information about yourself, a little bit of information about your bike, and you know, like where you're from, stuff like that. Maybe your YouTube handle too, if you want to share your YouTube handle, and then that way people can connect you with your motorcycle. And it's just a great way to have a little bit more of a community here on YouTube, and it's a lot of fun for everyone. So send me your rides, guys, and I will let you all get into this video now. So Indian's got lots of different models of motorcycles, as I'm sure a lot of you guys already know, and they've got something for everybody is what I've been noticing. So I'm just gonna walk around and take a look at some of the bikes they've got in the showroom here. They've also got a Triumph showroom upstairs, so I'll take you guys up there as well afterwards, because we all love our British bikes, don't we? All right, so one of the very first models you see when you walk in the door is the Indian Chieftain. So this is their version of a touring motorcycle, and you know what? It's not a bad looking bike, if I have to say so myself. I'm a bobber girl myself, but hey, who doesn't like a little bit of comfort on the highway? That's what I think. So this is an air-cooled Thunderstroker 116-inch engine with 126 foot-pounds of torque, which makes that a pretty powerful engine, guys. It's got a rear cylinder deactivation and Pathfinder LED lighting, remote locking saddlebags, push-button power windshield, keyless ignition, ABS, and cruise control. Let's take a look at the other side. 116-inch engine is a pretty decent sized engine. You can't go wrong with that. And then we've got our little Indian Chiefs here, the 2022 Indian Super Chief. And this one's got a 111-inch engine with 108 foot-pounds of torque and a 6-speed transmission. This thing is definitely a good little cruiser. And again, with a good size engine, lots of torque, especially for a bike that size. So, okay, one of the bikes that actually draws my attention here is this one right here, this Indian Chief right here. And one of the reasons for that is because this thing has got a 116-inch engine with 120 foot-pounds of torque, 62-inch wheelbase with a 27-inch seat height. You know what that means, guys? It's perfect for someone my size. If you're in the 5'2" kind of range, that's a lot of bike. With a 116-inch engine, 120 foot-pounds of torque, like, come on, how can you not have fun with something like that? And something that's actually really nice about this is it's still got all the electronics. It's got, this is actually a little touch screen. It still looks really nice and sharp, and like you would never know that it's got all those fancy technology going on in there. And it's a lot similar to this Indian Chief Bobber. This one is called, according to the tag, the 2022 Indian Chief Bobber. And then while this one over here is the 2022 Indian Super Chief. The Bobber over here doesn't have the touch screen. It's got a little bit of a longer wheelbase, but a little bit of a shorter seat height. Still got the wire rims, so it's really nice and sharp looking with that. Definitely a good looking little bobber, that's for sure. Behind these guys, we've got the Indian Scout sitting back here with a little bit of a different style of engine. And I was trying to figure out what the difference is with that engine, and I might actually get a chance to ask one of these guys who knows. This one actually looks even lower than the Indian Chief they've got over there. So let's see what they've got to say about this guy. The 2022 Indian Scout with 100 horsepower liquid cooled V-twin, 72 foot-pounds of torque, electronic fuel injection. They've also got a whole lineup of sold bikes. One thing you'll notice is that this showroom is actually really nice. They've even got this cozy little customer's lounge where you can come and look at some old school Indian memorabilia. And speaking of old school, guys, one interesting piece of history about Indian is that they have actually competed with Harley for a long time about who is the oldest American motorcycle manufacturer. And after reading about it, I think I have to give it to Indian. Indian was founded by a guy named Hendy, if I'm not mistaken, in 1897, who actually founded it originally as a bicycle company. And then he hired another guy named Oscar. I don't remember his last name, but this Oscar guy was hired to build a gasoline-powered engine, and that engine was put into a bicycle in 1901. But then Harley also in 1901 drew up a blueprint for a gasoline-powered bicycle. That all happened in 1901, guys. So there's a little bit of a debate about what's the oldest motorcycle company in America. And I think if you're gonna be fair about it, I would probably end up giving it to Indian, because Hendy actually put his motor in a bicycle before Harley ever did. That was just an interesting piece of history, actually, that I never actually knew anything about until I decided to read up a little bit on Indian before I came down here. But enough of that blabbering and history lesson, because who wants history when they can have motorcycles? Okay guys, so I was able to wrangle up this nice man Travis here, and he is a very kind and knowledgeable sales guy?
I call it a facilitator of fun.
Facilitator of fun here at M&M Performance, and he's just going to tell me a little bit about Indian's newest model. And what's this one called?
So this is the Indian Challenger Pursuit. They came out with the Indian Challenger a couple years ago that didn't have the trunk and the lowers. So this is the full touring mode. This is the dark horse, so all matte black, really mean looking machine. The stereo in these machines is actually like an aftermarket stereo system.
Oh,
like
yeah?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
In the Challenger and the Pursuit, it's just out of this world.
Yeah.
You don't need to sink any money into it. Performance-wise, this is 122 horse, 128 foot-pounds of torque. Unheard of stock for a bagger. This bike can do everything. Travel across Canada, go through the twisties like nothing. 900-pound bike, and literally it feels like it's 500 pounds when you're riding it.
Yeah, nice. So is this been like a really popular model since it's come out? Or?
Yes, so they came out in 2020, the Challenger, which wasn't the full dresser, and they started going off big, but then when they came out with these last year, then they really started taking off.
Yeah.
Orders are coming in big on them, yeah.
So this is like modeled after the Indian Challenger, but it's just more of a touring model, more accommodating to a touring kind of biker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So you got your trunk. It's quick release trunk. Get heated grips. You can get these with a premium package, which is really cool. So the premium package actually gives it so you can adjust the shocks by the screen. So you could literally be riding down the road and have your significant other behind you and them go, honey, I felt that bump. Adjust the shocks and
It makes for a really nice, comfortable ride then, hey?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So what of the other models in here would you say are comparable to this one?
So the one comparable to this is the Roadmaster. The Roadmaster set up like this. This has the fixed fairing, whereas the Roadmaster the fairing is on the forks. So when you turn the handlebars, the fairing turns with you.
Right. Yeah.
It's more of a preference thing. Obviously, these ones handle a little bit better with the fixed fairing as far as jet streams and whatnot. You're more stable.
Right.
But the Roadmaster is great too. The Roadmaster comes with an air oil cooled engine, so 116, so it puts out 126 foot-pounds of torque, where this is liquid cooled.
Right.
So that's a big thing. All those Indians except for the Scout line have ride modes. So literally you throw one of these things in sport mode and you go through the twisties on this, you have no idea you're on a bagger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so responsive. You just touch that throttle, instant response.
Cool. So of the bobber styles, can we talk about one of those a little
whatever
bit?
you want. Yeah, for sure.
So guys, Travis is going to share a little bit about the Indian Scout and the Chief. So I'm curious to know what the big difference is in these two different models and how they perform.
So the Scout line, there's several Scouts, Scout 60, so they come in liquid cooled engines. You can either get 60 cubic inch, 69 cubic inch, 78 horse or 100 horse. So a great engine. They don't have the ride modes, but because it's liquid cooled, your peak RPM is a lot higher. So if you keep it near that peak RPM, you don't even need the ride modes. It feels like it's in sport mode. But the nice thing about these is they're not too crazy for somebody new, even though they're very powerful. If you don't keep them near that peak RPM, I feel comfortable selling to new riders.
Yeah.
And people have been riding for 30 years, love them. So the difference in that and this engine, this has got the Thunderstroke 111. So they make the Thunderstroke 111, Thunderstroke 116. This one's got the 111 in it. So this engine's been out for several years, but it's air cooled. So you do get a little bit of heat, but you also get a lot better sound into the engine, which true riders like that sound. It's that feeling that you get in your soul.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, you don't always get it on a liquid cooled bike like you do air cooled, so it is a big difference. This is just a lot of power for this bike. You tune this one up. This is the newest model they came out with, like they came out with the Pursuit and the Chief the same time. So the Chief used to be a lot bigger. Now it's between the Scout and the Springfield, which this size of bike takes 34% of the market, and Indian's been without that.
That's something that I noticed about this Indian Chief bobber and then the Indian Chief
Dark Horse.
Sitting here behind me is that they've got a really short wheelbase and a really low seat height. So guys, if you're short like me, that is like, it's so hard to find motorcycles that someone my size can just hop on and ride around on without having to do a bunch of modifications.
The great thing is they're all like that, and I don't know how they do it. It's amazing because you go for a great big bagger, and you'll get somebody's 5'5", and I can't believe I'm flat-footed, now I can ride a bike like this. You'll have the same bike and somebody 6'2" come and sit on that bike right after and go, wow, this feels great.
Feel just as comfortable on it.
It's pretty amazing how they do it. And then you can always there's extended reach, reduced reach. The big thing is the seat height.
As soon as you take that bend out of your knees when you're on a seat, that makes all the difference because all of a sudden you don't have any leverage left, right?
Exactly.
So would you say that the liquid cooled engine then is much more of like a quiet, like smoother kind of ride?
It is. It's definitely a quieter, smoother ride. They're coming out with better pipes. Like now the Scout, you can actually get them to where they sound pretty good, pretty loud. But it's like for somebody who's been riding all their life, it's really hard to explain. It's a feeling in your soul.
I know exactly.
And it's tough to get out of a liquid cooled. That's why they're still going air cooled. I know, like, you know, times are changing, electric, you know, liquid and everything. But you're still hardcore riders that want that air cooled engine.
Yeah, for sure. So that's, I think, one thing that would definitely make that a perk for newer riders too, is if you're not used to air cooled motorcycle, you're not going to be, they might not be thinking about the fact that you can't be parked in traffic on an air cooled motorcycle and just sit there, right? Because your bike needs movement to be able to actually keep itself cooled. So that's really cool.
It is nice though. The other bikes do have rear cylinder deactivation, so when you come up to a stop, the rear cylinder will deactivate until you let the clutch out.
This model here? Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it does keep the heat down a bit.
The most interesting to me about these is like they're so small and so short and low, but they've got all the torque and power of a big bike.
Yeah. Where normally you would have to, a lot of times with your height or whatever, you'd always have to sacrifice something.
Yeah, exactly.
But it, like I said, the Indian is just their research and development. They try to make something for everybody, and like they've hit it. I can't believe how well these bikes fit everybody. And like I said, with the power, the handling, they're just an amazing bike.
Yeah, just completely versatile. So do you guys do like demo days at all?
So they haven't had demo days since COVID started.
Right.
We haven't heard anything if there is going to be demo days this year. But we're hoping that enough of our 23s are in that we'll have slated demos, so we'll put some kind of demo days on ourselves.
So when are you expecting the new 23 models to show up?
So there's a couple 23 models here already. You just haven't had time to get them built. We're still kind of in the sled mode, right? We still have sleds showing up. So probably middle of next month, we'll throw some 23s on the floor.
Nice.
We'll probably only have about 5 here at that time, but hoping to have a full, at least one of each 23 so that we can do some kind of demo days.
So what's your favorite model of the Indians?
So it's funny, like I've always been a stripped down bike guy. Like you know, I rode Harleys, and if they had floorboards, I'd take the floorboards and put the pegs on them. I said I'd never ride a fairing bike, and my go-to bike is a Chieftain. So the Chieftain is just got fairing with no trunk, but the stereo system is so awesome. I'm a music fan. And I just love it playing the tunes. And it's a 31-degree lean angle, so I could take the Chieftain, which is a bagger. Somebody could take this. We could go the twistiest road you want. I'd just throw that thing in sport mode. It's got the same lean angle as this. I'd be right on the back tire.
Yeah, so you're totally keeping up.
Yeah.
Cool. So did you can we go upstairs, or
I've actually got my customers actually here.
No problem. Yeah,
so I'm gonna get with him, but you spend a little time, and if I got a few more minutes, we'll do something up there.
Cool, thanks. I'll just grab my mic.
Oh yeah, I thought you were shaking my hand. Like,
I wanted to shake your hand too for the camera. So guys, now you've got a little bit of information about some of the newer models. Travis is really busy today, so I really appreciate the fact that he took a few minutes to actually share his knowledge with us. But I walked over here into the second-hand motorcycle corner. One bike I really want to show you guys here is the Indian Chieftain. I really like this one because it's got that old school look to it. And I'm just going to turn the camera around and you guys can check it out yourselves. All right, so look at this beautiful red Indian Chieftain. And this is one of their pre-loved motorcycles. This one is a 2016. That is an example of one of their secondhand motorcycles that is available here in the showroom. The thing I really like about this Chieftain is that it's got that old school look to it. It's a sharp looking ride, guys. It's got that old school style fender, skirted fender I think is what they call those. And then they've even got like the old school gauges here on the dash. Oh, let's have a look at the other side of this. Yeah, it's a nice looking bike, guys. And just look at how full this showroom is. Like, they got so much. And then over here, they've got a huge section of recreational vehicles, the Enduros, So now that we've walked around and we've had a look at a bunch of these new Indians, how about we go upstairs and take a look at some of the Triumphs. The Triumph showroom. Alright guys, so just like Indian, Triumph has also got some really nice looking newer models, and Triumph, like I think I've already said a couple times in this video, has always been one of my favorite motorcycle manufacturers. So very first one that we see when we walk up the steps into the Triumph showroom is the 2022 Triumph Bonneville Bobber. And look at that, guys. Like, that is a beautiful, beautiful motorcycle. I actually love this thing. I love bobbers. Yeah, Triumph makes beautiful bikes, guys. And this thing is like the perfect size for me. I love the ribbed fender on this thing, like old school ribbed fenders. So let's see what this has to say about it. The 2022 Bonneville Bobber. It's got a torque assist clutch, ride-by-wire throttle with switchable traction control, 2 riding modes, road and rain. The thing that I like about these, like you guys know me, I'm not big for technology in a motorcycle, but if you're the kind of person who likes a little bit of tech in their bike, but also likes that old school look, these newer Triumphs really do a great job of integrating the two together. We've also got the sport model of the Triumph, which is the Triumph Trident. And actually, just by looking at this thing, I would say that for a sport bike, it actually doesn't look like it's too tall. I'm not a sport bike person. I prefer a cruiser or a bobber of some sort, but it's not a bad looking sport bike if you're into sport bikes. And then they've also got another one of my favorite is the Triumph Scrambler. So it seems like a few people are coming out with these Scramblers again. Ducati's got their Scrambler as well, but a lot of the Scramblers were put together like for desert racing and stuff like that. They are kind of like a more of a racing style is what they started out at, is actually as a racing bike, and I love the way that they look. Lighting up here is not the brightest, so I'm hoping that you guys can still see this thing clear enough. Let's go on to take a little look from the front of it a little bit. Lots of nice new Triumphs, guys. Like, I just love the new bobbers and the Bonnevilles, the Scramblers. I love Triumph. Just look at this, the Bonneville T120. And it's another really nice looking bike. These are also like just a great size for someone my height. Another one of the new models, the 2022 Bonneville T100, is this beautiful red and white Triumph sitting right here. It's really crowded in here, so I'm doing the best I can, guys, for getting good shots of this stuff. But look at that. Like I said, like, it's still got like that nice old school look. They've kept those old school tank and everything. Like, yeah, just a beautiful looking bike. So let's see what the specs are on this guy. So the 2022 Bonneville T100, it's got new cartridge forks, new higher specification Brembo front brake, new black powder coated engine, new black wheels fitted as standard. It's got ABS, traction control, ride by wire, and immobilizer, LED rear light, USB power socket, trip computer. Tell me I'm wrong. But you look at that bike and think it's got all that technology going on in there. Like I said, I think they've done a really good job of integrating a nice simplistic look with just the right amount of technology to satisfy people that are into a little bit more tech in their rides. So we're gonna keep looking around at some of these new Scramblers and bobbers because they're all beautiful, and I really want to show you guys this Scrambler behind me. So here in the light, it's a little bit lighter over here in this part of the showroom, so you can actually see this bike nice and clearly, is the Scrambler 1200 XE. This bike looks like it is definitely meant for some fun when you look at that suspension travel that it's got on there, and it's just the height on this thing, it's definitely got that off-road look. This thing looks like fun. And at a 1200, like, I feel like you would not be getting bored of that thing for a long while. So let's see what they have to say about this. The 2022 Scrambler 1200 XE, fully adjustable Showa upside down forks and Öhlins long travel rear suspension units. If I was gonna go for an off-road bike, something like versatile, off-road, on-road, I think I would definitely be choosing a Scrambler. Could totally see myself flying down desert roads on that thing. And we've got another Triumph T120, kind of like that Triumph T100 back over there, but different color scheme. Still a really nice looking bike. I like those old school pipes on it. Yeah, these are just really nice bikes, guys. Like, if I was in the market for something like this right now, I would definitely be getting a Triumph. Over here, we've got another one of the Triumph Sport models. That is the 2022 Street Triple RS, the lightest bike in its class. That makes for a pretty fun ride. That thing looks like it can go, guys. And then we've got this beast sitting over here. So we're gonna check that out, because that thing looks like it just wants to rip. This is the Rocket 3R221 limited edition. Unfortunately, it does not have one of those spec cards on it, so I can't tell you guys any more about it than that, but I would definitely suggest looking it up, because just look at the engine on this thing, you guys. 2500 cc. That thing is insane. Clearly water cooled or liquid cooled. Big enough gas tank for that engine. I would not mind trying that out. And look at the way it's got the chassis. Look at that thing. That thing is massive, guys. Big fat tire on the bike. This thing is meant to just go. It's got like a shaft drive by the looks of it. Yeah, that's one crazy looking ride. Now that I've kind of been in these guys' hair for like a couple hours, I think it's probably time for me to go home and do some real work and finish cleaning up and setting up my garage. If you guys like this and you guys want me to do some more of these types of videos, let me know in the comments, and I will do my best at opening my social butterfly wings and getting out there and making some content like this for you all to watch some more of. Thank you for being here, and like always, everybody, if you like what you see, or if you just like me, or even if you don't like me but you like my bikes, then like this video, comment down below, and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you want to know every time I put a new video out, then you can hit that little notification bell and YouTube will tell you whenever I put a new video out. And until next time, my YouTube people, I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace. So don't forget, guys, come check out M&M Performance, and these guys will hook you up. They've got some nice bikes, and yeah, super friendly people. Come check them out at 849 McCurdy Place in Kelowna, and these guys are all willing to give you their time.